giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We're streaming live on YouTube on this beautiful Tuesday. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Coming up today is Tape Tuesday. So we're going to jump into the lab and look at the how to my drive of the game. Some cool things the Cowboys have been doing over the last number of weeks. That also means we've got Sky Optics prior to all of that. So we're going to talk about and discuss some of the things that I saw, some of the things that others have saw, and some tendencies the Cowboys are picking up of late. Some good things. That's the good part. The bad part or the down part of the show will come via the roundup as we get some bad news for a couple of our players on the Cowboys team. But it's all good, man. It's all good. I think the Cowboys will still be fine. It's just that these particular players may not be along for the ride on the field. But it's all it's going to be cool. It'll be all right. But what's good, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
What's happening with y'all? Did any of y'all happen to catch the game yesterday? Anybody happen to catch the game last night? The Bills game. I was sitting there watching that, and shouts out to y'all that follow me on Twitter at Skywalker Still. I was watching that, and it's always prime time, right? Like it's always prime time where Josh Allen decides to turn the ball over a whole bunch of times. Now I know he went down there and he scored a go-ahead touchdown, so shouts out to him. But boy, I mean, this guy's just is allergic to not turning the ball over. And we had a whole nother Josh Allen got to chill moment. I'm debating what to do when the Cowboys play. And they could be a different team. They're 5-5 right now. I highly doubt that the national media is going to make a big whoop about it, but they probably should. This was their darling AFC team and player and quarterback for quite some time. And they're quite literally a mediocre 500 team right now. Having lost to the Jets. Having lost to the Broncos at the crib. But, I don't know what they're going to be saying out there. But I'm debating how I want to approach this thing with Josh Allen in a couple weeks. About 5 weeks, I believe it is, when the Cowboys play him. Turnover machine, turnover prone. Do we stick do we stick with the Josh Allen got to chill, or we want him to have no chill that way? No chill, Josh. No chill. But we'll see when we get there, man. Bills lose to the Broncos. Game-winning drive by Russell Wilson. Weird finish. But they get the sack, and then you have the just throw it up, penalty, defensive pass interference, and missed field goal. I thought they mismanaged that, by the way, the Broncos. Missed field goal, 12 men on the field, make the field goal, walk off, go home. Bills 5-5. Weird finish. Weird finish. But it's all good, Cowboys get the Bills. I figured let me watch them. Eventually we'll look at the tape heading into that game, but let me watch them again and see, because we're getting closer and closer. Just a weird team, man. Somebody tried to call the Bills the Cowboys at AFC. Nah, I think the Cowboys are a better team. Cowboys are a better team with the better quarterback. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I don't really I don't care about the arm. I don't care that he can make these amazing throws and he can run. You've got the better quarterback. And I digress. Let's get into this roundup and talk about some injury news going around with the Cowboys.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It's time!
It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Walk with me. talk with me, Cowboys Nation. This one hurts because CJ Goodwin is one of my favorite people on the team. One of my favorite people. What I mean by that is, I had a chance to, early on into this thing, interview CJ Goodwin, get to know him, and maintain a relationship with him. So to see that, he's out for the season and potentially, he's older, he's 33. This might be the last go round for CJ here in Dallas. And he's an elite special teams guy. I think he's a guy that, if they can bring him back on a cheap deal to get him to camp, let's see what happens. See if he can make it through again. A favorite of John Fossil. So we'll see. He's got a lot of juice in that room with John. But he's out for the year, season-ending surgery. He tried to give it a go with that torn left pec. And this is what he said. He said, quote, "I knew it was a long shot anyway. They said they never had anybody come back from this injury, but they gave me the opportunity to try it. I tried it. It is what it is, but I'm looking forward to getting it better and rehabbing." So, speedy recovery for CJ Goodwin, a very underrated, unheralded guy on this team over the last 5 seasons with the Cowboys on special teams. He's one of the best in the National Football League. I wouldn't be shocked if he returned on another one-year deal. If not here, definitely somewhere else. How old is Slater? Isn't he still in the league? Slater with the Patriots? I mean, he's been doing this forever. Yeah, Brother L. One of the GOAT intros of all time. Talk to me. LVE, his return seems to be decreasing. Shouts out to Gelkin for getting this. Gelkin is, man, I tell you, man. He came over from, I believe, the Raiders or the Chargers, one of those West Coast teams. And he's just been no nonsense, straight down. He's not leaning one way or another, not trying to be funny guy, he's just giving you the straight business, right? And, he gave us these 2 nuggets here on the Cowboys. CJ Goodwin, season-ending injury, surgery Friday. And then LVE, he's still dealing with the neck situation, and it's just sounding more likely that he will not be returning. It's not ruled out, but Jerry Jones was asked about it, and at the very end, he said, "I don't want to push the hope or anything. Let's just see how it plays out." I'm no doctor. I stayed at a Holiday Inn. We have a doctor here throughout the season. But if I had to guess, doesn't seem like LVE is going to be returning anytime soon, Cowboys Nation. Well, it just doesn't. And honestly, for his safety for off the field, I wonder if he's contemplating retirement. This is what, injury number 3 or 4 to the neck area? At some point, man, the game just becomes too physical for that severe of an injury to that important part of the body. And I'm obviously keeping this off the field because I do care about his actual health. We'll talk more about what this means on the field, but I'm starting to think, man, LV might want to hang this up if he cannot return to the team. Seriously, that might have to be the case there, man. But like I said, we do have a doctor on hand. And that was the injury spotlight presented by OSMI. OSMI provides arthroscopic and robotic assisted orthopedic, foot and ankle surgery, sports medicine, physical therapy, and a ton more. Their team of orthopedic specialists has offices in Fort Worth, Decatur, Mansfield to provide state-of-the-art orthopedic care to the North Texas area. So when it comes to medical care, you and your loved ones deserve the best possible experience. Schedule your hassle-free appointment today at osmifw.com. We'll have on the doc at some point later on this month, and I'm pretty sure we'll talk more about what's going on with LVE in that neck if we get more information. That's if we get more information. Now, we could tease the linebacker situation a little bit, but today, we're going to talk about the offensive side of the ball. Before we do that, though, let me jump into the chat. Yes, that is the Dynasty intro, 100%. Kingpin said, filling the blueprint intro. Let me be honest with you. That is definitely one of the GOAT intros of all time. But the Prelude is one of the most underrated in Jay-Z's catalog, in my opinion. Me and Brother L was talking about this the other day about the Prelude. I'm a fan of the album in general. That's one of Jay-Z's not most popular albums, and I get it. It's not one of his best either, but I think it's also underrated nonetheless. But I think the Prelude just so crazy. He talks so crazy on it, and if you into the game, right, to that aspect of lyrics and music, man, he go hard. That's what I'm saying. Shouts out to Brother L, man. We had this conversation a couple weeks ago. All right. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty and talk about this Cowboys offense, tail of the tape in Week 10. We'll get into Sky Optics here in a second, but we're going to actually hear from Coach Shoddy a couple times today. And I like how we do this, right? We get the tape. We hear from the coordinators. We'll hear from Dan Quinn tomorrow. Today's Shoddy. One thing that we've been talking about for weeks is the fact that this offense needed to peak later or midseason and be peaking towards the end of the year, right? I'm fine with it being weird if it's going to be weird now and it gets resolved later. The other thing we talked about was how different this offense has looked pre-bye, post-bye. And let's be honest, pre-week 5, pre-week 6. Pre-week 6, post-week 6. The offense is night and day. The philosophy is night and day. It visually looks different. Conceptually, it is different. And again, we talked about giving credit and a testament to the coaching staff. Now we're at a point, though, where, okay, it's a month. We got 4 weeks of this. This is who we are. I'm not giving any more pat on the backs. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Lean on the things that are working, on the players that are good. Now let's continue to build on top of that. But Shoddy spoke about, ascending in the middle of the season and about how things are different on what they did when they went into the bye week. And that's why today's topic is called player deployment, because they talked about the player deployment. That was one thing that had been an issue leading up to that. But here's Shoddy on that exact thing.
I don't know. I think it's more about, when as the season goes, you want to always be doing what? You want to be getting better. You want to be figuring out who you are, finding your identity. You're exactly right. The first couple games, it was weird. You look back and, it never felt like we had as many trips to the plate, if you will, in terms of some of those games. But I really do think that coming out of the bye, we were able to have some really good discussions, talk about a lot of things, talk about our player.
All right, my bad. I'm going to have to run this back because I happen to look over here and as we're talking about it drops. Roughly 10 minutes ago, Jerry's on 105 through the Fan, and he has confirmed the nature of his injury makes me think long-term beyond next week or next month. He has been effectively ruled out for the season. Sorry for the hard turn right there, but LVE has been ruled out for the season. So as we were talking about it comes down to Pike. He gone. He's done here. And again, maybe what's something we'll talk about. If you guys want to call in, you can 351-999-3787, and we'll furthermore dive into that. I know tomorrow, me and Okoye will definitely be talking more about it, specifically this linebacking group. But I wonder if that's why you saw Rashaan Evans get as many snaps as he got on Sunday, because he was on the team for about 3 or 4 weeks and a couple games, and he hadn't played in that many snaps. So I expect him to be to be signed and become your full-time middle linebacker, or at least splitting those duties with Damone Clark. But LVE officially done for the season and possibly done for his career. So let me get back to this. I know this is defense, offense. Let's switch it back. This is Shoddy once again talking about ascending offensively, wanting to be ascending offensively in the middle of the season, and some of the things that they did coming out of the bye week.
I don't know. I think it's more about, when as the season goes, you want to always be doing what? You want to be getting better. You want to be figuring out who you are, finding your identity. You're exactly right. The first couple games, it was weird. You look back and, it never felt like we had as many trips to the plate, if you will, in terms of some of those games. But I really do think that coming out of the bye, we were able to have some really good discussions, talk about a lot of things, talk about our player deployment, how we want to use people and the ball distribution and things like that. So, I wasn't ever concerned. We're a very talented team. We got talented players that work their asses off day in and day out. And whatever we emphasize with these guys, they give it to us. And that's all that you can ask for as a coach.
Yeah, player deployment coming out of the bye week. That was the one that stuck out to me because that's something that we've been noticing, right? We've been noticing how they're deploying their guys, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, Brandon Cooks, the likes of those guys. We've been noticing that. And when I get into my Sky Optics, we'll talk about each one of these things individually. One of the things that stuck out was the continued usage of motion and eye candy. And on top of that, as he said, how they're deploying these guys. Shout out to my guy, John Owning. He dropped this nugget for us. Since the bye week, the Cowboys ranked 8th in shift/motion rate. Prior to the bye week, they were about middle of the pack at 14th. Not a coincidence that Dallas offense has improved by being less reliant on static 2x2 formations, doing a much better job of creating easy wins and advantageous matchups. Something that, we have been talking about for that first month and some change of the season. Like, hey, man, we're looking real static. We're not doing any type of creative things. We're not moving pre-snap, post-snap. It's just very basic, and eventually that could catch up to you. And it did, right? It did. But since that game, the Cowboys realized we can't do that. And not only are they doing more shift and motions, prior to the bye week, they were 25th in bunch formation rate and 3x1 formation rate. Since the bye week, they're 13th in bunch and 15th in 3x1. We tracked the 3x1 last week. You guys remember that? We did the whole, I call it the money set now. That's the money set because the Cowboys, it's been money for them. They've got huge returns in that 3x1 set where it's CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Jake Ferguson on the same side. Right? And even when they isolate CeeDee Lamb as like the XY receiver, Oppo, and they have the 3x1, they still get good looks out of that because they have a 1-on-1 on the opposite side, or they make you dictate the coverage. So the 3x1 bunch formations, they're starting to be deployed more, the player deployment. And if the Cowboys stay true to that, again, we talk about this a lot. There's not too many teams I think are going to be able to deal with this skill set of wide receivers on the outside. And the more you utilize these guys in that manner, the more you put it on film, and now teams are going to have to dictate coverage. And who do you, as Dak said, what do you do? Who do you double? If you're getting guys like Cooks involved in that manner and Jake Ferguson, how do you deal with that? So coming out the bye, or at least at the bye, hearing Brian Schottenheimer talk about, yeah, man, we sat down and we talked about player deployment. He also mentioned about CeeDee Lamb, coming to the team and saying, look, I need the ball more. And ever since, he's gotten the ball more. So that was one of the main things I noticed, again, was so much usage. And I think it was Patrick of eye candy and motion. And Patrick Nosey Walker, he said that they used it 61% of the time, which would be, I think, the second most highest rate during this stretch run here. Also, still gets help, second level struggles. So two things there. Number one, I love that they understood that Terrence Steele is having struggles, right? And they just didn't leave him on an island all game. Obviously, time to time, you're going to be left on an island. That's just the way football goes. But there was also times they understood, let's give him help, whether that be a chip, whether that be just keeping Ferg in there, whether that be keeping Schoonmaker or doubling on one side. They gave Terrence Steele the help he needed in this game at the times that he needed it. And it wasn't always in the manner, like we said, of a chip. It could have been a sprint. It could have been a sprint away from him. It could have been a sprint towards his side where you keep the tight end in. It could be, a 1-2-3 quick step, getting the ball out. They understood what's happening. They understand, what's happening with Terrence Steele, and they gave him some help. But what stood out a little bit more than that was the second level struggles are continuing. We mentioned this a few weeks ago, I think, here on the show, where, look, let's just be frank, man. This offensive line, run blocking wise, is not. We're in week 10. I'm not about to sit here and pretend that it's going to turn into some monster. I don't think it will. So you got to find a way to just get it done with what you got. And one of the things you'll notice is that these guys just are not getting to the second level and executing at the second level that well. Another thing John talked about that really matches what we see on film is that Tyler Smith is really the only one getting there and displacing the second level defenders. And that checks out when you watch it. And not just this week, man. I mean, for weeks, we looked at some of the runs against Philly where we just couldn't get Biotish up there. And sometimes Zach can't quite get there. And then Terrence, Terrence might have been worse in the run game in this one than it was in the pass game, but he's not getting to that second level at the high level that he usually does. So it's really Tyler. That's pretty much what it is. And another thing that I'm noticing, I talk about this a lot, and I think it was Jesse who brought up the term elephants on parade. I talk about getting the cavalry outside. But as much as I want to get elephants on parade outside, as much as I want to get that cavalry out there, I think it's becoming more and more evident that this unit, just from an athletic standpoint, it's not what it was in the past, and they can't do it that well. It could be a bit of an overreaction to this game, but they tried to get the elephants on parade, and when you're watching it, you're like, man, it just looks clunky. You can't get out there. But I still think they need to stick with it. And because what it does, when you do that, that's really not about it being pretty. It's just about get a bunch of bodies out there, let your running back sift through the mess, and then get what you can get. Sometimes that might get to a big play if you're the Niners, because they execute it with precision. I think Dallas executes it like it just kind of looks like bull in China shop. Just get bodies out there and let bodies hit the floor. Same thing can be said on how we execute pulls. I think we're a below average team in executing the pulls too. I think it's a bit sloppy and tight, and it's kind of like, hey, running backs, just get what you can get. So what on this guy? What the hell worked on the ground game on Sunday? I'm telling you, man, I just think we need to lean on the zone. I think we need to lean on doing more zone things. I think we need to lean on allowing Rico and TP to stick their foot in the ground and boom, get downhill. If we're struggling getting to the second level, if we're struggling with these pulls, let's just say get to a spot, allow these running backs to have 2 or 3 options, plant that foot, read the linebacker, and get downhill. I just don't think we're going to be a team that's going to move guys off the ball a whole bunch. We're not going to be a team that consistently, executes these duo blocks like we were before. We're just not doing that. I went back last week before the game and was like, let me just go look at the run game from last year. And boy, I missed the offensive line. It was different, man. It was 100% different, and obviously it was really different before Terrence got hurt. So when you go back and watch this game, a lot of good runs came, with this zone situation. A lot of these good runs came with, hey, I just need you to get a piece at the second level and allow these running backs to just get downhill and make something happen. But we did see a little more inside zone. I'm happy about that. Not a whole lot of the stretch. I like for them to incorporate that, a little bit more stretch zone for these running backs. But if this is what we get from the run game, we're averaging over 5 yards per carry total. We're getting a bunch of first downs. Once we get down there, we correct what we've been doing incorrectly by deploying guys like Rico and Hunter as opposed to TP at the goal line. Then I'm fine with this, because I'm still fairly confident that this is now a receiving, passing game, quarterback-led team and the running back and running game is just going to be a complementary part of it. And I think that's something that McCarthy actually talked about. So the way I look at it, if the Cowboys can get 25 to 27, 30 carries, if it's a blowout like this and you just keep running, and you're averaging over 4 yards per carry on that day, you get a rushing touchdown maybe. If you don't, that's fine if you're scoring otherwise. You're converting first downs, you're converting third and shorts or whatever, then fine. That's complementing what is the best part of your team, and that's the perimeter, and that's your quarterback. It ain't your run blocking. It ain't your backfield. It ain't your run game. But you do need them to have efficient moments, and you saw that throughout the game on Sunday where they were efficient. They were efficient when they needed to be. You even saw it in Philly. There were some efficient moments there, but that's all I care about moving forward. I'm no longer really stressing about it. This team is now turned into a team that is not a running team, as much as they try to act like it in postseason. So have those efficient moments like we had against the Giants. I'm fine if that's what the run game is going to be. I'm fine with it. Cooks and Lamb, Freaky Friday switch. What do you mean by that? Do I still got my what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
I do. I had it. They switched, man. Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb coming into this game have primarily been Lamb, slot guy. Cooks plays on the outside. For the most part. You get Cooks in the slot from time to time. And obviously Lamb increasingly over the last 3 or 4 weeks has played more snaps on the boundary, something that I've been asking for about a year and a half now. Let's get him out there so we can dictate coverage a little bit easier. Well, this was the first time, I think, all season that CeeDee Lamb played outside majority of the time. He had a season high snaps outside, and he ate. Cooks, on the other hand, had a season high snap percentage in the slot. And that got Cooks the ball on the move a little bit more, and it paid off big time. He had 62 yards after the catch in this game, by far the most of the season. When I say by far, that's an understatement. If you had to guess, what is the season high for Brandon Cooks, without looking or Googling or whatever, the season high for Brandon Cooks yards after catch in a game prior to Sunday? Season high for Brandon Cooks yards after catch in a game. Who's talking about feed Zeke? Oh man, y'all Zeke stands. I get it, man. I get it though. There's as fans we have favorite players, and that just can't. Clearly, you're not watching the Patriots. Clearly, but Zeke stands, Zeke fans. I get it, man. Favorite players. 45, nope. 10, 12, 24, 8. Now you cheated, Tony. I know you cheated. Ain't no way you got that. But yes, 8 yards was his season high in yards after catch. That's bro, that's nuts. Brandon Cooks can scoop. Get him the ball. 8 yards to 62. And a lot of that, getting Brandon Cooks in the slot, and they were deploying him in some of these overs, deploying him in some of these rub routes, and we'll get to that here in a second with the film. And you reap the rewards from that. You reap the benefits from that. Get the playmakers the ball early. They did that as well. Very similar effect with CeeDee Lamb. If you get Cooks involved, then other things will also open up. Teams will have to start playing Brandon Cooks differently right now, as opposed to, you don't really care about Cooks? Cool. We'll dictate our coverage elsewhere. And that's something that they did. But here's Brian Schottenheimer on Brandon Cooks' day.
Well, first of all, it's great. Look, Brandon's always been somebody we've tried to get the ball to. The game does go different. Each game's very different. The thing that was cool about that game is to get them off to a fast start. Most receivers are that way. You get them a couple balls early, they feel it, they get into a rhythm. It just kind of helps them calm down, settle into the game. The game again, have never run a route full speed, but it slows the game down for them. You know, they see things really well. But you feel his speed out there. Like, I've been around a lot of fast guys. This guy's got different speed. Like, so he catches a little short post route, and you see him kind of run out the back door. So he's a guy that you can throw it to him long, you can throw it to him underneath, and because of his explosive speed, you know, he's got big time playmaking ability. The other thing that goes into his play is you see the couple touchdowns that he's had. He's got an innate ability to wall off the defender for an undersized guy, right? Yeah, Tyler Lockett was this way. There's some guys that are smaller that know how to use their body to kind of shield. Like we had the touchdown against the Chargers a couple weeks back. Same thing. Guys on his back, he kind of shields them. Yesterday we throw a corner out for a touchdown to him on our left side, on our boundary. Same thing. Guys there, he beats him with speed, but he knows how to shield the guy with his body. So that's learned over time. That's learned through experience. Again, I'm just waiting to see who you guys are going to ask about for next week. Who you guys want to see get the ball for next week?
Yeah, he hell. Yeah, I bet you all do hear us. It was ridiculous. Eight yards after catch is crazy, man. He is so savvy, man. Brandon Cooks is so savvy, and you will never catch it in the broadcast. You just have to go back and rewatch the little things he does, either at the top of his routes, before the routes, just the small little things, that shielding off with his body. He's learned, and King Element, you can attest to this. Us vertically challenged people, we have to learn how to use our bodies in certain ways if you play sports, right? You're not going to grow 5 inches overnight. So how do I shield off the defender on a jump ball? And if you notice, Dak is trusting him. We talk about fades. Hey, look. Where's my button? A fade. Only fade I care about is when I go to the barber. That's it. Because your money throw down there is Brandon Cooks. Throw it up. Not a fade. Not a jump ball. But they've clearly got this mastered. If you look at all the routes or all the targets to Brandon Cooks in the end zone, he just knows how to get that defender on his back, use his body, and he secures a rock. We kind of get mad at body catchers, right? But he does it strategically. Brandon Cooks knows how to secure the catch strategically with his body because he knows, look, I'm not a big dude. I can't allow these guys to run through me. So if I just try to catch it all the time with my hands in these situations, I don't have as much control because I've got all this area that can get hit. But if I allow this thing to get on me and use my body to shield, I can secure the catch, man. But he does some savvy things. We're going to take a look at it in the film here in a second. All right, let's hit the phone lines, though, real quick, because I know my man is one of the busiest dudes, one of the busiest fathers that I know and hardworking guys I know. And you never know when I'm going to hear from my guy, B. Bird. What's good with you, brother?
I'm doing all right. How about you, Scott?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well.
Hey, one thing I want to say is about the early part of the season. The worst thing, a bad plan is bad, but even worse than that is a bad plan that works. And I think what they did is, in the start of the year, they said that, well, okay, we're going to limit Dak's interception, which I think y'all have all shown by film that the interception wasn't that bad, and ESPN and Fox got to have something to say.
Yeah.
But to start the year, they said we're gonna lean on our defense and make no mistakes on offense and be very conservative with our throwing and all this other kind of stuff. And the bad part about it worked. We was 3-1, but the San Francisco game rolls around.
Yeah.
And what became of that made them have to change. Necessity is the mother of all invention. And so they needed to change, man, and I'm glad they did. That San Francisco game could be one that we mark and say, hey, that was our turnaround right there. And we needed that. So that's one thing. I don't know if you want to comment on that.
No, that's something I mentioned. Yeah, it's so crazy you say that because I mentioned that yesterday. I said that could be one of those situations where we look back on the season and say, here's the turning point offensively. This was a turning point where we said enough is enough. It is time for a change.
Yeah. And my last thing is this. I was offended by Big Mike being offended by being asked questions about Cooks last week. It was criminal how they were using him, to be totally honest with you.
It was.
Think about this. we went to the San Francisco game last year in the playoffs with one playmaker, which is CeeDee Lamb. And really how we were playing, that's all we had again. We could not go into that. We didn't bring Cooks in to be, just another Gallup of Tobert. I'm not knocking Tobert. I'm saying with the production. We was trying to get a number two, a genuine, bona fide number two wide receiver that if you double or try to take CD out, we got somebody that's going to eat you alive.
Mm-hmm.
And we never established that before this weekend. So for him to get offended by that, why would we even trade for this guy if you're going to use him like that? And so to me, I just think that if they continue using the way I think we both envisioned they'd use Cooks like they did last game, I think we're going to be okay, man.
Yeah.
I just think that with the San Francisco game, also too, man, like Boss says, your voice counts, and you always say context matter. I think that's true, man. We got to keep this thing on because I know some people in the media were asking those questions, but YouTubers were, people on Twitter was asking questions. Where is Cooks? Why is he getting? And I think that does make it to those guys because the first play of the game, man, was Coop getting the ball to Cooks. We got to get this guy. This guy has had 1,000-yard seasons for 4 different teams. So now he gets to your team, and he's gonna end up with 500 yards on the pace.
He's an afterthought. You don't trade for him and use him as an afterthought. And perfect example, like you said, the Niners game, right? You get into that situation. We said we needed one more weapon because your best weapon, from a speed standpoint, got hurt. And then we spam CeeDee Lamb, but you needed more, and you bring in Cooks to do that. Nah, something ain't right. So you can't tell me there wasn't a conversation either at the bye or going into this game about player deployment for a specific player, because look what happened in that first play and look what happened in their 96-yard touchdown drive, which we'll get to here in a second.
And look how it turned out. And that's all I wanted to say, man. Continue on with the show, brother. I appreciate you giving me this time, man.
Yes,
you
sir.
have a great day.
Appreciate you, B-Bird.
Right.
The original OG. Actually, a perfect segue, honestly, into the film room. Let's jump right into it. He talked about getting Brandon Cooks involved early. And let me pull this back up real quick. There we go. Getting Brandon Cooks involved early. This was on the 96-yard touchdown drive for my drive. That's why it's my drive of the game. That's a long drive, and we involve Brandon Cooks right now, right off the bat. Sprint right, slot rub, easy button, and we're going to look at the help that Jake Ferguson gives Terrence Steele. And it's not really just Terrence Steele, but this is the design in the sprint. So let the play run a little bit, and we'll run it back here. Easy button. Instead of trying to run out the backfield from there, we'll get a nice quick 7 yards. But these are kind of the subtle things that I talk about with Brandon Cooks. So just keep your eye on Brandon Cooks at the top of the screen. He's in the slot right here. And we'll see another subtlety a little bit later. But how Brandon Cooks stems this route, he's going to fake inside. That step inside and then break out and boom, right. I mean, if he's just an inch late or Gallup is an inch shorter here, they're tripping over each other. This is ran precisely. Makes 28 go over top of Gallup. Catch, get upfield. Easy button. Easy buttons you got to have in this offense. All right, split zone play action, a layered crosser, and there's going to be a subtle avoidance. We talk about, the just the small things that he does here. What I mean by, okay, is this not working? Yeah, okay. I guess it don't want to work here. All right, my bad, Cowboys Nation. I was going to try to show you something. But what I mean by layered crosser, you're going to have, I believe, yeah, we definitely tripping. I believe we're going to have Brandon Cooks run across the field here. I think that's 83. Run across the field here. Split zone play action. Jake Ferguson underneath. Wide open here. Now watch the subtlety in this route release, though. Check it out. Maybe a young player runs into this linebacker. Maybe a young player shortens this drag route and we don't get as big of a play. But just avoiding that linebacker, getting over the top, rounding out the route, securing the catch, getting upfield, more yak. That's part of that 62 yards of yak that we saw the other day. Money set. Here we go. Here we go. Money set. Pop, push, motion. Threes company. 87 protect. So, mind you, that's 2 catches on this drive alone. Prior drive, Brandon Cooks got involved in the first play of the game. I think he had another catch in that drive. So right now, they're getting Brandon Cooks going. And here's that money set we talk about. Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson in a trio situation on the right side. And this turns into a strong situation because of Tony Pollard. But nonetheless, take a look at what Brandon Cooks does to the coverage because he's getting going. There's that pop motion, expands it right now. Still don't have it. 1, 2, 3. 3 guys kind of looking towards Brandon Cooks' area. If this happened to be Jalen Brooks, if it happened to be Jalen Tolbert, you probably don't get these guys worrying about those guys. But because Brandon Cooks is getting involved, you get a guy wide open back here in CeeDee Lamb. Put it on the money, move the chains. And this is what I mean by 87 protect. Check out Jake Ferguson on this play. I'd rather them do these kind of bootleg play action sprints or whatever, where if you leave a guy unblocked by the tackle, well, then keep your tight end inside the block. Usually when this happens, maybe this is an adjustment, they'd have Jake Ferguson, he'd go out in the route, and they say, hey, we're just going to play with this defensive end. And if he doesn't read it right, or if he does read it right, he's firing down here on Dak Prescott. But that's not the case here. To leave Jake Ferguson in to protect. Easy money. Oh, this is just a run here. So they're going to kill this, and they're going to run zone left, see it, hit it, go is what we talk about. And I'd much rather them do this than anything else. But even then, if you take a look at Terrence Steele, he just doesn't secure his block. But shots out. I mean, look how fast number 93, I think it was, gets into this. I mean, he shot out of a cannon. See it, stick your foot in the ground, get downhill. Great run and finish strong. This is the other angle. Here's Terrence. Terrence, tough assignment here. He's got to reach, right? He's got to get around and in front of this guy. And this is a hell of a get off. He gets into Terrence Steele, gets enough of him. That's about as good as we can ask for at this moment. But good run here, getting downhill. Now, I'm sorry, Cuzzo. I'm sorry to do this to you, bro. I had to have a laugh at this. But ladies and gentlemen, take a look at Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele tackles and he saves a touchdown. I don't really mean to do this, but bro. Sir. No words. If you happen to miss that, Terrence Steele tackles Tony Pollard here. Here's the other angle. This is a touchdown if Terrence Steele right here doesn't tackle Tony Pollard. Cuz they gonna find Tony Pollard, y'all. They gonna find Tony Pollard for sticking his helmet in Terrence Steele's chest. I mean, I'm sorry to call you out like this, but bro, you can't get, and it was with one hand. Damn, cuz all right, we'll move on. Jumbo, same side, play action, creates easy money. So this is what I mean by play action, same side. A lot of the times what you'll see is some type of play action rollout, and we're going to try to hit either this, it's not a tight end, but if it would be a tight end if you're in 13, or this tight end on a rollout. I like same side play action. I think this should be what you build off here in the red zone. Same side play action puts more emphasis on this linebacker to make a decision. So what I mean by that, same side, if it's a run, and it looks like it, right, because the fullback's coming up, fake the handoff. This linebacker takes one wrong step. It's easy money. Easy money. Now, this was the play I was telling y'all about Monday. I might even said it on Sunday, where I just love how this looked. Now, this is kind of the inverted. Instead of a pop motion, push motion, you're going to get an at-snap motion drag route with CeeDee Lamb. If I had my stuff working here, I'd be able to show you, but my pointers ain't working. But CeeDee Lamb is going to do an at-snap motion and run a drag across here. Ferg is going to run to the flat. And right behind it, you're going to get Brandon Cooks on a slant, and he puts on the absolute jets after the fact. I love this because, look, first of all, if you look at the protection, the blitz worked. We didn't get it. We didn't pick it up. Dak knows that, though. He's a veteran quarterback. He could go here and get some yak, or he can hit Brandon Cooks, who has the Jets on the money, and he turns them on, man. I love this play. And again, it comes out of the money set. So many different things that you can do with these three guys on one side. It puts a ton of pressure because you can't possibly double both of these dudes. And if you forget about Ferg will eat you up too. But I love this at snap motion with the drag concept and the slant right behind it. Just the concepts that we've been seeing on film lately over the last 4 weeks are just wonderful, man. These are some of the things that last year and previous years we would do these, Tape Tuesdays, and I'd say, man, where are the unique concepts game to game? Where are they? As opposed to just, hey, 4 verts, hey, 4 curls. Screen game. When I say screen, I mean wide receiver screen. We run a ton of those, and we were terrible at it. I'd rather see them try to do this with Cooks now, but I love that concept. There were a whole bunch of other things in this game that I thought were cool as well. But that was a drive of the game, and that play at the end wasn't part of the drive of the game, but that was something that I wanted to show you guys because I loved how it looked. Like I said, didn't get a chance to use my pointers. My bad for that. I don't know why I messed up, but it messed up nonetheless. It's all good. Looking back at this play here, though, man, there's so many different things you can do here. They did the play, and I should have put it in here just because, where Dak Prescott by number 97 was getting, Dexter Lawrence was getting rocked, and he puts an absolute dime into Brandon Cooks. That was kind of a bender type play where they sent Brandon Cooks what looked like might be either an over, and he bends that route out back. And that's something that Mike McCarthy talked about, saying there's some things we haven't gotten to because of protection, and that was one of the plays that needed protection. But I think they had 88, CD Lamb on the same side, who it looked like it might have been a scissors route, but it wasn't. He just did a simple dig. But it's things like that you can do out of that formation as well. And it's something that you can build on top of. And that's something that I hadn't seen in years past where, okay, there is a formation, an alignment, a play that we've been built, variations that McCarthy talks about that we can build off of. So I don't even think we're done yet with them. But I do think what we've done is we've completely flipped the script. We came into the year, going to be a run team, our defense, run the ball, control the clock. We're not that anymore. We're leaning on your quarterback was playing some of the best football of his life, some of the best football in the National Football League. We're leaning on our strength offensively, which really was our strength going into the season, is your weapons on the outside, and we're leaning on one of the best wide receivers playing right now, CD Lamb. CD Lamb. All right, let's jump back into the horns, man. Let's wrap the Deshaun. What's up, bro?
What up, man? Hey, Brian needs to chill with that, trying to be all funny and stuff, because, hey, you see what happens when we actually listen to this, do you not?
So I'm saying, he hell.
I agree, he hell. Because, dude, and this is my honest opinion, I feel like we can beat majority of these teams that we're playing. And the reason why, like you said, who are you going to double? You can't just stand there and double CD all day, because then Cook's going to go off or Ferguson's going to go off. It's pretty much like a pick your poison. And I just feel like my problem with the team mostly is that they take so long to figure these things out, which I understand mid-season form, but also the game 5, like that 49ers game, bro. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to just look past that, because they had all this in the toolbox and they just say, you know what, let's just save it for later. I just feel like that's just, to me, I thought that's lazy.
Well, I mean, you can learn from it, right? Like you learn from it. And I feel like that's what they did. So, yeah, we obviously have to move on. But as long as you've learned from your losses, I think Micah said it best. He was like, you don't, or not, Micah said it. Micah said, learn from your losses. And then somebody else said something. I think it was Shoddy. He was like, you don't want this L to beat you twice. Meaning, if you harp on it too long and it carries over to the next week, you're losing because you're focused on what happened the week prior. So there is a middle ground to have there. Obviously, you move on, but you learn from what you did or didn't do there, and you take that into the following week and maybe the rest of the season. And I do think we're going to look back and say that was a turning point.
And then my last point, Scott, I'm a little bit nervous with this defense because I feel like what they're doing, and I'm seeing what they're doing, they're playing off so much that they're giving a lot of guys like easy.
Let me ask you a
separations
question.
or easy little dunks.
Let me ask you a question. Are you nervous about this defense because of what you saw Sunday, or you're just talking about in general?
In general.
Okay, yeah, because Sunday this defense they did nothing until the last.
The defense was fine.
Okay,
but it's like I'm gonna say this. It's like when we play the big boys like the Philadelphia, the Lions, the Bills, whatever. You kind of need your defense to show up to the party.
Sure.
And by trying to play off and give them easy dump off, Scott, a lot of times what's happening is Micah and the guys can't get to them because they're getting the ball off so quick because you're playing 5-10 yards off of them. And I just feel like that's just you're giving teams the easy way out because we did it with Philadelphia. Like, you remember how you were saying that they didn't play aggressive enough starting off, and they was giving Hurts these easy reads just to make and it was just simple completions. I feel like we shouldn't just let teams just let them off the hook like that.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that ad nauseum last week. Yeah, well, they've got to be better. For me, turning the ball over in their losses, they one turnover in those 3 games they lost. But yeah, they'll figure it out. I'm not quite ready to be out on the defense, but I do think we're definitely looking over there saying, hey, look, I get it, Panthers, Giants, whatever. But once you get up to these big boys, it ain't gonna get easier, right? Detroit and Miami and Buffalo and Philly again, it ain't gonna get easier. So learn from your mistakes and get better. Sure.
All right, thanks, Kyle.
Yes, sir. Come on. Boom. Chris from Alaska. What's up, man?
Yo, can you hear me good?
Got you loud and clear.
All right, bet. I just want to talk about. I'm happy about the win, and getting Cooks involved. But one thing, one thing we know is when we start screaming, we want a wide receiver getting more targets. They make it a shut-up game where they'll give them the target, and then we probably won't see them. CD's a different, maybe.
I was about to say, sir, CD Lamb.
You're right. Well, I was going to say, the CD Lamb thing. The only thing we have to keep pressure on the Dallas Cowboys in general, just to make sure we keep doing it, because I hate to go way back in the past, but you go back to 2019. Amari wasn't getting his targets like he should have been.
2019.
So we said we needed his targets, and he had that 200-yard game. And after that, I went back and looked at the stats. He only had 200-yard games after that. So it's like, we just need to keep pressure on the front office, because I was watching Boss' show last night, and I don't really think it's coaching. I think it's more of a front office thing, because you go back to that Mike McCarthy thing last week when they were asking about Cook, and he got kind of mad. You know what I mean? And it was like, I don't play fantasy football, this and that. I really think Mike McCarthy knows that he wants to get Cooks involved. I think some of it is the politics. There's that saying that the front office treats free agents like bastards and treats their draft picks like sons. So
yeah, we don't even participate in free agency, man. I hate to go back to an off-season conversation, but I mean, we're all the amazing free agents the Cowboys sign. That's not what they do. They sign the low-level free agents so that they can treat them that way. But Cooks was traded for, and you didn't trade Cooks like B. Bird said. You didn't trade him to come here and be put on the back burner. So, yeah, you getting upset that people are questioning you about his usage? Well, we don't really care, man.
And the other thing that was evidence of it is, like, you go back to John Machota the Wednesday before the game when 105.3 The Fan, they were like, talk about the Cooks thing. He's like, John Machota was saying, the front office or the coaching, whatever, are on pressure of getting Cooks involved, and he predicted that Cooks was going to get 7 to 8 targets, and he got 10 targets this game. So I'm not saying, all I'm saying is we need to keep targeting him and keep feeding the archer. You know what I mean? So that I don't know.
Yeah, we've been
It's
saying
just,
that. Yeah, that's,
you know what I mean? Because, like,
mean,
and you go back to a year ago, you go back from last year when John Machota was on Pick Six Sports. I don't know who asked it, but it was someone in the live asked him about if the Dallas Cowboys look at Twitter and what Dallas Cowboy Nation is talking about. And he says he doesn't know for sure, but he believes one or two times every couple of weeks they go and look at what Cowboy Nation is saying. So our voice does matter. So when there are things that our team is struggling with, you gotta talk, man. Get on Twitter and talk because they do listen.
All right, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I don't know what more you want me to do here. I mean, I've been saying this for a long time. I've been saying this for a long time. He's not brought here to be that way. You got to treat him like he's a part of what you're doing offensively, not as an afterthought. Let me just say that. I came on here years ago and told you guys that, I had it on good authority that the front office does go down there and they say things. Unfortunately, this is the sucky part about being a Cowboy fan. They ain't changing. What's happening from the top ain't changing. They're going to be who they are. So, yeah, continue to keep the pressure on them and all that. That's good and fine and dandy. But until they willingly want to change, nothing in that regard will change. It's going to take the coaching staff, really, in my opinion, to not be unsullied and have the gall to say, man, y'all know what I say, F it. Fire me. If you don't want me to do it this way, fire me. I mean, again, I'm a broken record, but fire me. 903, what up?
Hello?
What's up?
Hey, man. I just have a couple of things I want to talk about for the most part. What I've noticed with Mike McCarthy teams and a lot of your other teams that really were good in the mid-teens is they all started slow in September. They built up steam in October. Then come November and December into the playoffs is where they really showed their best football. What I'm wondering
Who's that now?
Is what I was saying is most of these teams, they start picking most of these McCarthy coach teams. You there?
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, what I was saying is most of these McCarthy coach teams that I've noticed with when he was with the Packers, and then a lot of your other, fairly dominant teams in the mid-teens, they seem to have always had slow starts in September and October. They started picking up speed, and then have a letdown there and in November. But come, end of Thanksgiving on, it seems like these were just world beaters. And that's kind of the team I see that's starting to form here, is they're starting to become a world beater.
In what way? Because they're whooping on the bad teams?
Yeah, they are whooping on bad teams, but, I mean, you can't control your schedule. But at least you can get some confidence in yourself and maybe move on and finally start showing some kind of performance in better.
They was whooping on the teams in the first 3-4 weeks of the season. So I wouldn't go quite as far as calling them world beaters just yet. We're about to find out if they're world beaters. We haven't hit that part of the schedule to where we can say they're world beaters just yet, right? They're 0-2 when it comes to dealing with those type of teams that if you whoop them, you're a world beater. When you're handling business against the poor opponents, yeah, that's fine. But I don't think we're at that level just quite yet, though, caller. I think we got to hit that stretch where you get Seattle, Philly, Detroit, Miami, Buffalo. Then let's see. That's where we see if we world beaters, I think.
Well, for sure, you're going to have to play some of the better teams. You're at least going to have to show. You're going to have to beat them. You're not going to just have to show a good showing against them because moral victories only count.
You got to beat them.
Yeah,
you got to beat them.
Yeah,
100%.
But it just seems like you're starting to see, and I agree with what you were showing. They weren't showing the whole playbook early in the season, but in the same time, to go with a baseball analogy, a lot of your better hitters don't show what pitches they can hit until close to the end of the season.
Yeah, see, I
you
don't
know, when
care
it
about
matters.
them showing the whole playbook. The issue with early in the season, because it was weird, right? Like they were blowing teams out. It wasn't about them not showing the whole playbook. It was about, okay, you got 4 weeks, right, of data of what works, what doesn't work. We're going into week 5 against a big opponent. That's the whole thing about, you know, the playbook. They went into that game holding close, tight to formations and changes and things, and it cost you a victory. Right, it got you embarrassed. Let's just be completely honest. It got you embarrassed. So I give them a pass for not having a whole playbook shown the first 4 weeks. But you can't go into a game like San Fran and say we're going to hold close all the good plays because it's the week 5 of the season. Nah, man, you need to go in there and get that monkey off your back against San Fran. That's where my issue was at.
Right, I get that, but would you rather knock them off, you know, in the regular season or beat them in the playoffs at home?
Both.
Which one's more important to the team?
Both. You don't know if you're playing them in the postseason. You have no idea if you're going to play. You can't think about that. First of all, you got to get there, right? And why not put some stuff on film that they have to now prepare for, and then you can counter off of that. I'm sorry, I can't get behind. Let's keep good plays against a good opponent like that because postseason can't do it.
But for the most part, like with previous regimes, like with Jason Garrett, they'd always start like a ball of fire and they'd beat everybody, and then come close to the end of the season, here they are falling apart because everybody's seen every play they've had, and they didn't never do anything new off of it.
Again, I'm fine with them not showing everything in those first 4 weeks, but you'll never convince me that holding back plays in week 5 purposefully is a good idea against a good team like that. Clearly, it wasn't. You got embarrassed with that basic ass
you got
playbook.
embarrassed. You're exactly right. You're right. They did get embarrassed, and there's nothing. But what really is going to bother me this year, and it always seems to be the going thing with no matter who's coaching or who's doing what, who's playing, is the depth always seems to be the problem whenever you have to get those second line guys whenever injuries start happening. And I mean, I know injuries happen, but it seems like this team's never prepared for the second level or for their secondary players to perform.
Are you talking about defensively?
Well, defensively it seems to have been better the past year, but it always seems like once, we've always had to go, like forever you've had to, you've had to go ahead and figure out that Tyron Smith is going to be missing at least 5 to 6 games a season. It's pretty much,
you mean backups.
One of the most obvious. But
okay.
Yeah, but just any backup, it seems like they're not up to speed, and you never have anybody. When a lot of your other teams can just plug and play. I mean, I get it. You're never going to replace a Tyron Smith or, somebody like that, but at least you should have somebody that's capable sometimes with your depth.
Yeah, they showed some. Some of the backups showed something, a little something earlier. But let's just keep Tyron healthy. Let's just do that. No practice for Tyron.
Yeah. I mean, I like this. I like the no practice for Tyron for sure, and I appreciate everything you do. You guys have really kept it up since Norm's left and everything.
Since who left?
Since Norm Hitzkus retired, you guys are pretty much some of the better. You and Vosh are two of the better people to listen to when it comes to Cowboys content.
Oh man, appreciate that, man. Real quick before you go, who's Norm? I'm new in Dallas, so if that's a Dallas guy.
Yeah, he used to be a Dallas guy. He's been an announcer and sports guy for Dallas for decades. He used to announce for the Rangers, and then he had a show on the Ticket there for a while, and he was in that other radio station there for a while.
Okay, shouts out to Norm. I have to look him up.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. All right, man. You take care.
You as well.
Bye.
Let's keep it moving. 818, what's up?
Hello?
Yes, sir. You are live.
Hey, how's it going, man? First time caller. It's Maurice here.
Appreciate you calling in.
Appreciate you. Salute to you, man. Appreciate what you do, and the content is always, on point. So, talking to a fan of almost 50 years, so some stuff I'm probably going to say that's not going to rub the fan base the right way. But it doesn't matter.
Usually, when fans say, I've been a fan for 50 or 60 years, something bad's about to come out their mouth because they tired of this shit. So, yeah.
So I'll start with, just Dak alone, man. Half our fan base is delusional. I'll say that because I'm a fan almost 50 years. This kid's been, and I say kid because I have twins that's Dak's age. This kid has been nothing short of amazing. Yes, he has a 2-4 playoff record, but the man has won so many games, has thrown so many touchdowns. The minute he does one thing out of the, all of a sudden he's Mark Sanchez. Give me a break. But anyway, I'll digress on that. But I want to say, based on that call you just had about the San Francisco game, just to touch on it, a lot of times we come out, start the game, trying to figure out what somebody else is going to do, as opposed to just coming out aggressive. When Dallas comes out aggressive, that's what we need to do and what we need to continue to do. I think Dak's playing his best ball because now he's playing free, as you heard him say in the press conference, because he doesn't have to think about what he needs to do on this play or that play. Let him play ball like he's been playing since he's been a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, this kid was all SEC 2 times in college. Comes into the league. Technically, he wasn't even the 4th round pick. He was the compensatory pick in the 4th round. So he was the 5th player they picked in that draft. Only player, from what I think I've heard, that's still on his original team that drafted him. As far as quarterbacks go. So they need to just get off my quarterback, pause, and let him do his thing. I really think that the kid is going to be destined to take us to the Super Bowl. You have half this fan base still are defense attorneys for Tony Romo, and Romo never took us anywhere. And I don't hate Romo. It's just my quarterback is my quarterback at the time. I roll with Romo, pause. I'm riding with Dak. It's all about Dak. That's how I'm rocking.
Fair enough, man. It's going to take a collective effort, though. I will tell you that. I think it's going to take this entire team and organization to be on the same page and get it done in the postseason. As good as he is, he ain't gonna be able to do it by himself.
That's right, 100%. And yeah, man, I will say I'm probably gonna be at the Seattle game. I'll try to look you guys up. I think you said you guys are gonna be at Walk-Ons or something like that.
Yeah. I think it's like 10 minutes from the stadium. It's on the way, depending on which way you're coming from, but it's on the way to the stadium. It's just we're not across the street no more.
Right. Well, I'll be flying out there. I'll figure it out. I'll
okay.
Try to hook up with you cats. And again, like I said, appreciate what you guys do. This is way better than the alphabet channels, if you will.
I agree.
This is what's real. We don't need to hear all of that foolishness.
Yeah. Appreciate the call,
you, man. And, definitely, man. Take care.
I saw a clip going around yesterday that I just was like, man, they down bad. They made up, and this is what they do apparently. They go into these meetings. How, and this is real life. How can we get the Cowboys in the A block? Or more important, how can we get Dak in the A block? And I think it was on one of them fake take shows. I think the question was, is Dak Prescott a all-time great Cowboys quarterback? What? Fam, how is that even a conversation week 10 in year 8 where y'all just was shitting on him for an entire offseason, for most of this season? Out of nowhere, somebody in that meeting room, in that producer room, popped up and said, oh, I know how we can get him on here. After a 500-yard day or whatever it was. Right? Is he an all-time great Cowboy? That's so stupid. You made up some weird question because the answer is likely no, right? Like, the book is still being written. He go out here and win a Super Bowl? Yes. He's an all-time great Cowboys quarterback. He goes on to become a Hall of Famer? Yes. Right now, we can't. All-time Cowboys, bro. We're talking Troy Aikman and Super Bowl winner. We're talking Roger Staubach Super Bowls, right? That's the standard in Dallas. Is he one of the best Cowboys quarterbacks of all time? Yes, he's one of the best. Is he an all-time great Cowboys player? Slow down, bro. But y'all asking that question because y'all know what the answer is at this moment. Stupid, man. So I don't need to watch those shows. 702, what it is, what it do?
you doing? Can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear.
Hey, just a quick question. You know, I listen to you and watch, you know, a lot. But I think it was NFL Network, right? Maurice Jones-Drew said the Cowboys is not a Super Bowl team because we can't run the ball, right? So it's like if we get into those games to where we can make a team one-dimensional, you know, and we have to run the ball. You know, like the Falcons got beat in the Super Bowl because they wasn't running the ball. You know, they came back. So, like, I just want your take on if we get those teams one-dimensional and we run the ball and we go 3 and outs, do you think that what's gonna kill us? You know, in the playoff run.
Well, I mean, you're kind of we're all over there, but are you basically saying he doesn't believe we're a Super Bowl team because he don't think we can run it consistently, and we're going to need to run it in the playoffs? And you're kind of like, is that you kind of agree with that a little bit?
Right.
I guess it depends on the matchup. I don't think you necessarily need to be able to run the ball on certain teams, but I do think it's going to come down to certain parts where you need to be efficient. I don't know if you caught that at the beginning of the show. Like, this isn't a running team, bro. Like, it just is what it is. You don't need to be a running team to advance to the Super Bowl. Some running teams do, some running teams don't. But what you need to be able to do is run it efficiently when you need to. So I don't agree with, we got to close out a game. We're going to go run the ball 3 and out. I mean, look, if you run the ball on first down and it don't work out, we'll throw it for the first down. I mean, that's what's been working. But there's going to be times throughout the game I do think you need to be efficient. One game I was thinking about watching the Buffalo game was in Buffalo. It's going to be cold as hell. You know, throwing the ball all over the land is going to be tough. But if we get to a game like Detroit and we're in Detroit or we're playing at home and we're on home, I mean, lean into what you do best. Don't try to adhere to what, you know, Maurice Jones-Drew wants to do. You know, run the ball in the postseason. I mean, that ain't your best thing that you do. That is what it is. I'm not going to do something stubbornly if it's not what I do best. I'm going to try to, whatever it is I don't do as well, I'm going to try to figure out a way to do it a little bit better, but I'm not going to lean into it. We ain't a running team, and the sooner that we figure that out, the better we'll be. And they figured that out, and look what happened. Your offense woke the hell up. So I'm not going to say we can't advance to the Super Bowl because we quote unquote can't run. I just think that, you know, you lean into what you do best and then you try to be efficient on the ground. That's all I care about. Be efficient on the ground. I don't need to run the ball 35, 40 times. I just don't.
Yeah. And I was just listening to what you're saying about is Dak one of the greats. I mean, you don't have to be it right now.
Yeah, it don't got to be that right. Yeah,
you know what irritates me with them NFL Network? Just like with Shannon Sharp, I love that guy, but the Broncos can have the shittiest game. He don't never say nothing. You know what I mean? But the Cowboys have a good, decent game, and he just throws us under the bus. It's like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, the Cowboys can't do nothing good or close to being good and get our props. And everybody can the Eagles can have a horrible game, and they still don't talk bad about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. I've learned some years back that there's a way that those networks operate. They know how to get the clicks. They know how to get the ratings. They know how to get the engagement. And it's obviously talking about the Cowboys, man. I told you guys. It's one of the main reasons why I decided to do this because I just didn't think we were being covered the way that we needed to be covered. And it was all this low-hanging fruit. Is Dak Prescott a all-time Cowboys? What the hell is that? No. And does anybody care about that? In all honesty, did anybody care about that? No. No Cowboy fan cares about that. But you know who they're leaning on? People that hate the Cowboys because they make just as much money for them as people that like the Cowboys. So if you bring something up like that, the people that hate the Cowboys, they're going to retweet it. They're going to say crazy things. The people that love the Cowboys are going to either talk about Tony or talk about Aikman. Or they know what they're doing, right? They know what makes big business. But if you are a true fan that wants to know more and more about your team and hear the real about your team, that's not where you go at all, bro.
Yeah, no, not at all. That's why I listen to y'all, man, and y'all do y'all thing, man. But that's all I got to go.
Appreciate you, man. Good call. Yeah, it's, if this happened to be 2006, 7, maybe even 10. I don't know. I think there could be some legitimate, hey, you're not a running team. You might not be able to do X, Y, Z. I don't think that's the case no more. I do think, though, you need to be able to, in moments, be efficient at it. Or as Shadi would say, be able to run the ball when they know you're going to run the ball. You do have to do that. I do think they need to continue to figure that aspect of it out, but I don't want them to do it in the detriment of thwarting this offense, right? Ah, man, we got to be a running team now. Now, all of a sudden, CeeDee Lamb, 7 targets. Brandon Cooks, 3 targets. 12 personnel, Luke Schoonmaker, play action, drop. Luke Schoonmaker up the seam, drop touchdown. Man, lean into what you do best right now, and really going into the season. It's your perimeter, it's your quarterback, it's your passing game, and you can do long handoffs. You can get into that. But I was thinking about that Buffalo game. I can't see that game being good weather. I feel like we're going to get 10 degrees. It might even snow. You ain't going to be able to throw the ball. That's a game that you're going to have to run the route. 818, what it is, what it do?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm calling. I was just listening. I was listening to your show. We've had disagreements before, respectfully disagree, but
yeah, no, it's never personal, bro. Never personal. It's just how I talk.
Of course. Yeah, I understand that. And see, I think the issue with you and Vosh is that you're both millennials, and so
damn.
And so
that was a little personal. The issue.
Well. Let me finish. Let me finish. And
I got issues though. You're right. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, you're both millennials, and so you weren't around to see the Danny White Dallas Cowboys. You really, haven't really seen, because that 80s post Roger Staubach Cowboy team with Danny White, man, they went to 3 straight NFC championship games.
Sure. Yeah, I'm aware of my history of my Cowboys. I'm aware.
And people act like, Danny White was one of the greatest Cowboy quarterbacks. You want to talk about underrated. I mean, that team with Tony Hill and Drew Pearson and, come on, 3 straight NFC championship games, and no one wants to talk about them. And the greatness of Danny White. But here's my thing. Here's my thing.
What's your thing?
No other Dallas quarterback has not been able to be critiqued. Every Dallas Cowboy quarterback, Danny White, his successors, Gary Hogaboom, Steve Pallure. But for some reason, when us old school Cowboy fans, I'm 51 years old, I've been a fan since 1980. When we critique Dak Prescott, everyone wants to come to his rescue like we're hating on the young man. No one is hating on him.
Did you just say that you can't critique Dak? It's like people don't critique Dak or something?
Yeah. Yes. Still, it seems
Question.
like.
Do you live under a rock? Do you not watch? Like, do you not have social media? Do you not listen to any of these shows or anything like that? Because
I'm
Dak
talking
receives.
about Dak apologists like you and Vaj.
Okay,
that's what I'm talking.
So listen, you're actually talking about 2 totally different things. You can and have and will, and he has been critiqued. That is not an issue. Hell, I've even done that. You can talk about what his flaws and what he hasn't accomplished, and he has to finish. He doesn't have playoff, whatever. He's been critiqued. That's why I asked you, have you been living under a rock? He's probably the most critiqued quarterback in the National Football League because he plays for the most critiqued franchise. So you're wrong about him not being critiqued. But if you want to call me an apologist, that's fine, because I believe this is a really damn good quarterback that all he has to do now left on his resume is to finish and make a deep playoff run. I don't really see how that's saying anything crazy. I think what you lump me in with some other people that may call him an all-time great NFL quarterback, Hall of Famer, or whatever. Maybe that irks some of you boomers who don't like to hear that, you know, fans actually back and respect and support the quarterback because he's a good quarterback. Maybe that hurts y'all. But it doesn't hurt me if you say, hey, Dak Prescott needs to finish. Hey, Dak Prescott needs to do better in the playoffs. Hey, he can't make this. Hey, that doesn't hurt me. What makes me say, what the hell are you talking about if somebody says this quarterback sucks? Dak Prescott is not better than some random terrible quarterback. And that, to me, makes me say I can't really have football conversations with you, man, because you're going too far left. But just regular critiquing of a player, I mean, dog, are you living under a rock? He gets critiqued quite literally every day. He's getting critiqued off of a 400-yard performance.
Okay. I'm not just speaking on a national media level. And they do it for clicks. But I'm talking about within our Cowboy family, Cowboy YouTubers, people who love the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
Still, okay? I love the Dallas Cowboys. Okay? And I am a Dallas Cowboy fan. Okay, I was a fan when they were 1-15 in 1989, when they were 3-13 in 1988. Okay? I'm a fan. So my thing is, if I see that this quarterback shows tendencies to have great regular seasons and put up astronomical numbers, gaudy numbers, touchdown yards, and all those things are great. Mm-hmm. And then when I look at a playoff, well, it's a playoff game. I looked at the game 2 seconds ago.
Boy, you're stringing this along, bro. I'm gonna need you, and I hate to interrupt you, but you're really kind of taking a long time to get to your point, right? This build up is a bit long. So where are we getting at?
My point is, Dak needs to perform in the playoffs and get this team to an NFC championship.
Okay, so that's your point, right? That's
my point. He's getting the NFC championship.
Right. So listen, brother, I don't disagree. So where's all this animosity coming from? I don't think anybody would disagree with that.
No, because you guys want to give him his flowers without at least getting the team to an NFC title game.
My man. All right. So we're going to do this, y'all. We haven't done this in a while. Y'all ready? We haven't done this in a while. It's week 10 of the 2023 season, right? We're going to do this. Hold on. Answer my question, right?
Oh, okay.
Yes, right?
Yes.
Number one.
God.
Second question. Do you watch my show? I don't know if you really watch my show like every day like these
I watch it on and off.
Okay.
On and off.
So you watch it on and off.
Yes, on and off I watch it.
So then then you understand that I don't give a about what it's 10 weeks from now. We're talking week to week here. We're looking at film. We're reviewing the team. We're doing all the things that the national media won't do for these, which you want. You want to go watch the national media, my guy. Because what the national media is going to do is they're going to talk about exactly that every single day, Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday. Is Dak a Super Bowl quarterback? Will Dak advance to this? Will Dak. Bro, there's 52 other people on this team. There's about 25 coaches. There are strategies. There's film. There's offense. There's defense. There's so many other things to discuss. If you want a show that is going to come on here and say, Dak Prescott needs to get to the NFC Championship game or we ain't shit, then this is what it be. Hey, y'all, welcome to the show. Dak Prescott needs to advance to the championship game. See y'all. Hit the button. That's not what I do on my show, my man. That's not what I do. Now, we get to the playoffs, and he has a poor playoff performance. Guess what we're going to do the next day? Talk about it. We're going to talk about his future and things like that. So if you're looking for that conversation, if you're looking for the other shoe to drop conversation so we can come back on here and we can ridicule Dak Prescott, hey, brother, you're going to have to wait until the other shoe drop. But you got the wrong show. Go watch the national media talk about Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy every day. Here, we're just talking about what we saw on film in week 10, and you jumped on here talking about Dak Prescott ain't shit. He got to get us to the national, get to the championship game. Brother, I'm sorry. I ain't the show for you, man.
That's not fair because the caller two calls ago, he started talking in a positive light about Dak Prescott, and you didn't share that with him.
And I blew right past it. Did you hear me sit there harping on it? Dak Prescott going to take us to the Super Bowl? No. Hey, thanks for the call, man. Let's keep it moving. He wasn't attacking me. He didn't call me some millennial. He didn't say I was an issue. He didn't put a word of apologist on me. I'm neither of those things. I'm a guy that thinks is a good quarterback that can do good things. And what did I say to that caller? I said, caller, he can't do that by himself. He's going to need a team to do it as well. Right. So if he don't, so exactly. So, bro, I don't care if you are a super homer. I don't care if you don't like the guy. I don't care about that at this moment. We need to focus on what's happening in front of us, man.
Okay, fine. Okay, well, listen. I want you to understand, I love the Dallas Cowboys, okay? We are in this together. See, all this inner bickering amongst the Cowboy family is ridiculous.
But, bro,
it really is.
You called into my show calling me a apologist, saying I have issues, and talking about flowers. Bro, did you see at any point in the show today me talking about some, hey, man, Dak Prescott got to get these flowers, and I'm hyping up Dak Prescott? No, bro, I'm talking about plays.
I've heard you defend him before, Sky. It wasn't today, but I've heard you defend him before on other things.
It ain't about defending. It's not about defending, my guy. I'm pretty everybody knows my stance on the quarterback. I think we have a top 10 quarterback that is a good quarterback that can get the job done. If he don't get the job done, then obviously we might have to have conversations if he's poor in the postseason. But my dude, I'm not about to have that conversation every day. I'm just not.
Of course, and you shouldn't, Sky.
So why are we having a conversation right now?
Because you just had a call or 2 calls ago that brought up Dak Prescott, Sky.
And did I not gloss right past that? Because I'm not talking about Dak Prescott and greatness or Dak Prescott and playoff failures. Did it bother you that much? All right, go ahead, bro.
No. This is my thing. I'm gonna let you go for the call. In closing, I was just listen. We are Cowboys Nation, okay? I love you guys. I appreciate what you do. And I want the Cowboys to win a Super Bowl. That's what I want. That's all I care about. All right, man. Appreciate you. God bless you.
That was a weird way to go out. Wrong show. Yeah, go ahead, Tom. I got you. Wrong show. Didn't I have this conversation with y'all before? Like, if you want that type of show, this ain't gonna be it for you, man. That's too easy, man. That's like, I don't want to insult most of y'all intelligence. That's ESPN stuff. That's FS1. That's the networks. That's easy, man. We just had this. We just broke it down in this film, right? We talking about the depth of the team. We talking about schematics and schemes and getting into the nitty gritty of football. See, I think that's where I have to understand. Not everybody is there, right? Not everybody that doesn't hit everybody the same. What gets his triggers going is Dak Prescott. What gets his triggers going is the ESPN stuff. That's the easy stuff. That's the lazy stuff. You know what I mean? That's for those type people. But every once in a while, this happens. We'll come off of a victory, off of a loss. All right, man, look, I get it, bro. You upset. We lost. Dak sucks. And I've done that. I've let people come on here and go off. I've come on here even after the what's the name game said, I got questions. I got questions about everything from the quarterback to the defense to the offense, everything. Come on here and done that. And I've let you guys go off. Like, go ahead, man. You're upset. Where the hell did this come from? Boy, y'all be so mad. Go ahead, Toxic. I know you wanted to get up in here.
Good morning, Sky. First off, God bless you for even entertaining. I try
to always give everybody a shot, Toxic.
What is that quote on Billy Madison? You have wasted our time. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
This one.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever.
Go ahead.
First off, I don't know when quarterback playoff wins became a stat, it's one of the most worthless, overhyped, media-driven BS stats. I've seen Jimmy Garoppolo throw 5 passes total, and he won the playoff game. No, this is the ultimate team sport. Jim Kelly would be a Super Bowl champion if Scott Norwood hits a 48-yard field goal. I just, for the life of me, and I do not understand how people who work every day, have you never had a job where you had great employees, but your manager was just a low-rent pond scum piece of shit that just made the culture garbage? I do not understand how it always falls on one person. Are there games that Dak Prescott needs to play better? Absolutely. But I've yet to see a football game where it is one person's fault that they lost the game. You win as a team, you lose as a team, and you are only as strong as your weakest fucking link. Like I said last week, armies win wars, not soldiers. And not a single soldier. You need good planning, you need good preparation, you need good mental fortitude, and you need to execute that plan to the best you can and adapt if you need to. I do not understand how it's just Dak Prescott. And if that is your standard for a quarterback, then most quarterbacks, I guess, are just terrible in the NFL. Do you not realize how hard it is to even just get to a conference championship game because everything has to go your way? You need some luck. You need some flags to go your way. You need the ball to bounce like James Cook last night when he had flubber all over and he dribbled it up court, basically. You need that kind of shit to happen. So for people to say, and by the way, Danny White, I forget, but I know for a fact, hearing other old heads, Danny White got eviscerated by Cowboys community.
When he said that, I didn't know where he was going. I still kind of don't even know what the hell he's talking about here. But if he's saying Danny, and look, Danny White's a good quarterback. But from my understanding is most old heads is like Danny White never could get it done. I don't get how you saying you love Danny White, but then you got this energy for Dak. I mean, this has nothing to do with how I feel about either quarterback. It just was weird to me that a dude who most people, most of the old head fans would be like, hey, Danny White was a good quarterback, but man, he was getting that type of energy too because we couldn't get to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. But all of a sudden, the same situation is happening with Dak. I guess the NFC Championship is his barometer, right? But I think most Cowboy fans, it's the Super Bowl. So how on one hand, a guy who could never get to the Super Bowl is heralded as a dude you love, but a guy who couldn't get to the Super Bowl is heralded as a dude who you pretty much don't fuck with. It is a really strange thing to me.
And the last point I'll say is that whole Cowboys family thing. F that. Cain even killed Abel. Families argue. And there are times when you have people in your family, and everyone has them, the people in their family they just don't talk to because they're either weird or they're just basically pond scum. And that's the case of it. So I'm sorry for fans like that. You are more toxic than me. If you are blaming just one dude, man, pick baseball, pick something else. Go pick golf where it literally falls on one person. Other than that, I was having a great day until I got Forrest Whitaker eye from hearing that level of stupidity. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Sky, for listening to that. And let's go Carol Baskins, these damn Panthers. Have a good day.
That was good. Carol Baskin, these Panthers. That was good. That was a nice smooth over there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, look, I really don't like faking the funk on this channel. Y'all know that, but I just don't know when or what has made him get the impression of all those things he said about me. Because I support the Q. I think he's a good quarterback. If that's the case, then hey, bro, call me an apologist, man. If he has a bad game, we come on here and say he has a bad game. Hell, even when he has an amazing game, I don't even harp on that. Don't even harp on it. Talk about it on Monday. We'll look at the tape on Tuesday, and we talk about the next team on Wednesday. I think you're just upset because I'm not on here just bashing the guy over the head every day, it's not what this show is about, or making up questions like those networks do to create a conversation like that. That's pointless. Those questions can't be answered in week 10. If you're new to the show, you missed all of the offseason when we had these conversations. 10. What do you want? What do you want us to do here, man? I can't say Dak is going to be a Super Bowl. I can't say, Dak ain't. I don't know yet. We'll get there. When we get there, one of those two things are going to happen, and we'll have the conversation. It's that simple, man. I think social media or take media and these networks and everything has turned everything into, like Toxic Tom said, it's black or white. It's one person, it's this, it's that, where there's a whole lot in that middle to be discussed about getting to this or that. That's what I like to talk about, because that's where the nuance is at. I couldn't have this platform if I was just, all right, guys, Cowboys won, blew them out, yay, and press the button. All right, guys, Cowboys got blown out, 42-10. That sucked. Let me press the button. It's a whole lot in between that. Go to First Take, man. Go to the ESPNs. Go to the FX. Go to all that. That's lazy. That's for the lazy fan to me. I'm not going to assault your intelligence. I'm not going to assault mine either. Here's another one of these guys. What you got today, Marco?
What's up, Scott? You know you my boy. I love you. I think you got the best show on the internet, the best Cowboy show, because you let us get our opinion out. And I understand where my brother coming from, because
I know you do, because you're the same dude.
Yeah, because you did tell me in the summertime why I'm even watching this season. But I'm not even mad at
I told you what now?
Why I'm even watching, because I had a complaint about Dak not beating the 49ers. That was all that mattered.
That's a lie. You lying, because I would never tell you not to watch the season if you have a complaint about Dak. I would tell you not to watch the season if it came out your mouth that. No,
you didn't say.
If it comes out of anybody's mouth that, well, we got Dak Prescott, we're never going to do X, Y, Z, so we need to until we get rid of him, blah, blah, blah. Then I would tell you, well, why you watching, bro?
Yeah, you did. You didn't tell me not to watch. You told me why I'm watching.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Scott. I'm not going to say that. But
hold on, before you move forward, because it ain't just you. For people who have that belief, I do always ask that, like, if you think this quarterback's so bad that it's never ever nothing, we're never going to win, never going to happen, why do you watch? Why not just wait till the season's over, or wait till he retires, or wait till we move on?
I agree with you.
That's all.
I agree with you, Scott. You do get that. But I think we love your show. Even the people that hate that, they watching your show because they love. This show is a good show, bro. It's hard to watch. I don't even watch you and watch, because I just don't like watch you hanging up on people. I like you, dog. You respect me. But I wanted to call in and say this. Hey, my boy Henry shot better than Schoolmakers all day, twice on Sundays too.
You put me in a spot here, man, because I already was phony yesterday.
He better than Schoolmakers.
You're probably not wrong, bro. You're probably right. It's just, man, I've just been burned so many times with Henry shot.
Scott, my boy dropped the ball. My boy Gallup dropped the ball. I don't see that same Cowboy energy for when Schoolmakers dropped. It be aggravating me, bro. That be pissing me off. We want to throw Gallup under the bus so bad.
I mean, you can't keep dropping the ball, bro.
And I want Schoolmaker. I want that same energy, but we keep putting Schoolmaker. We put Schoolmaker in the box, man. Put Henry shot in the game. Give us another.
Well, first of all, he's on IR. You can't put him in.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying I don't like how we just brought Schoolmaker in and think he's Jesus at tight end, bro. Sit that dude down, man. It's time to go. Time for that dude to go and put my boy Izzy in the game. I'm sorry, Jay Luke, but it's time for you to go, baby. You want my boy Izzy. But Scott, I love your show, bro. The dopest show on the Cowboys. To me, I don't watch nobody else's show, and you do let me.
Well, you do need to watch. You do need to watch the volume. Watch somebody live. We have a good time.
I know. I love watch, but Scott, he hang up on brothers, and I can't deal with that.
I've hung up on a few. I've hung up on a few in my time.
No, Scott. Hey, Scott. No, bro. You're a respectable dude. I got love for you, bro, and I'm all the way. My Cowboys coming down here to Charlotte. We're going to kill them. But I respect you, bro. You let us get our opinion out like, buddy just said a bunch of crazy, and you might not agree with it, but you let them get it, voice it for about 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Well, let me tell you this.
I mean, I appreciate that.
There is not a more respectable guy that I know than Vach. Don't get the Cowboy thing twisted. My man is one of the most respectable people I know. So don't let the fun and entertainment think that that's not the case with him. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I want to give you your flowers and say I respect you.
Look, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, but we don't need to down someone else to do it. You feel me?
No, facts. I'm not gonna down Sky. Yeah. I'm not down and watch, but
gotcha.
I'm saying I don't watch. I mess with you though. You know, you're my guy. I call into you, enough. And I like watching foot. I appreciate you, Scott, man. It's always love, bro.
Fair enough. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I know Marco was kind of had a similar thought earlier, and in the off season, the conversation could be a bit different, and we've had that conversation with me and Marco about that, and that's what I don't get about the guy, and I keep going back to it, but I quite literally let all y'all get y'all takes off about the quarterback, good or bad. I'm actually learning as we go too. If it's a bad one, all right, let you finish. But when you call me this and you call me that about it, come on, man, relax. We gotta relax. Now I open this thing up and y'all done snuck back up in here. My bad. I'm sorry if 202 you was next. I'm not sure, but 915.
Oh, what's up, Skywalker? Long time no talk. It's Alfonso from El Paso, Texas. How are you?
What's going on, man? Got me doing the Eddie Guerrero when you called in. Turn down your house, though. Turn down your house.
Sorry about that old timer, but yeah, no, hey, Dak has proven they made it wrong. You know, we're having a great year. What do you think? How can we fix our run game? Let's talk it right now. What do we need to do to fix this damn run game? Do we need to start? I thought maybe, hey, let's start Rico Dowell. Well, or who can we pick up for?
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna pick up anybody else, but man, I don't know if it's going to be able to be fixed to a point where we're leaning on the run, right? Like I feel like we just got to find pockets within the game. Listen, there's some noise going on in the background. I know that's me. But I'll be quick. No. I'll be quick with it. I think if we wanted some internal fixing, obviously give Rico the ball more. I'm not saying you got to give TP the ball less. You ain't giving him the ball that much anyway. But you need to give Rico the ball more zone concepts, I think. And then obviously attacking the edges with both of these guys. I think they both do a fantastic job attacking the edges. So those are just kind of three internal things I would do.
Got it. Well, let's see if we can get it fixed. We got a long season ahead of us, so let's go Cowboys. And I gotta leave you with this because I am driving around. PPC, puro pinche Cowboys for life. Let's get it.
My man, appreciate you, big dog. That must be the Lunatic's cousin. Shouts out to Lunatic. All right, let's keep it moving. We got 209. What it do?
What's good, Sky? How you, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good on this beautiful Tuesday.
Listen, I'm not going to call you a millennial. I'm not going to do that. We're not going to start the conversation that way.
I don't got issues.
Because you're still hot about that. Now, let me explain to you, bro. Like, I'm one of them old school cats, too, but okay. I'm not one of them. Them the guys that Stephen A. be talking about. And the reason I say that is, as an old school guy, bro, you guys are used to quarterbacks coming in and winning a Super Bowl within their first year or two. Us old school guys, we had to wait till our quarterback got 30 before he got good. We never had a young quarterback come out the way Dak came out the box. Ever. Troy Aikman struggled. So I think what these guys are doing is they're so used to this clickbait type of conversation that they've had since the 80s. I've never engaged. I'm a football coach. So I've always understood what was going on the field. And trust me on this, bro. They slayed Danny White in the day.
Okay.
Dak Prescott is the best young quarterback we have ever seen. Danny White had one of the best teams. We were the innovators of the league at that time, and he couldn't get over the hump. People don't put that into context. That's not why I called. I just wanted to give you a little context on these idiots who are calling you.
I feel you. What's your name?
This is Daryl. Uncle Who. Everybody Uncle.
All right. Uncle Daryl or Uncle Who? What is it?
Uncle Who. Uncle Who.
Uncle Who. So Uncle Who, since you were around during that time. So does it make sense to praise Danny and then have that energy for Dak? Because that doesn't make sense to me.
No, let me tell you what this is, bro. This really is these guys. These are the guys Stephen A. talks about. Even if we win the Super Bowl, he would have a problem with something.
Sure.
These are the guys who go around arguing just to be arguing. He don't have, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but he watched a lot of football with zero football knowledge. I didn't even call in to comment on this shit, but I got you. I know. I don't pick up for the smart ones out here.
I done took you down that road. One more. Here's what I would have. Here's what I would have understood more is if the energy you were talking about people have for Danny back then, which was the energy they had for Dak, right? Was, hey, man, he can't get over the hump. If he said that he was more Danny White, I'd have been like, I get it. A good quarterback that hasn't gotten over the hump. But he flipped it, and that's what made me say I don't get what's happening right now. Maybe it's a recency bias or whatnot, but there's no way you can put them on opposite ends of the spectrum. I think they're either on the same end of the spectrum, whether it be good or bad. So that I'll digress about that part, but yeah.
Dak's a great quarterback, bro. I remember when he first came in the league, one of his QB coaches, I watched the .com all the time, and they said this guy reminds me of a young Warren Moon, and I'm like, yeah.
Hey, that's crazy. I want McNair.
He really
I want McNair,
does.
but I feel you.
Yeah, McNair ran more. That's why they say Moon.
Moon spun that rock, though.
You know what I mean? Moon was spinning that puppy,
Yeah,
bro.
he's spinning
Like,
that
he was
thing.
spinning it.
Yeah.
And you might be a little more dead on with your assessment because Dak does run way more than Warren wouldn't run to save his life. You know, he was getting that out of there. The reason I did call is the running game. Now, nobody's brought this up, and as an offensive line coach, I got to bring it up. We're running 80s and 90s concepts on that line, bro, and it's not working with the speed of these players. You cannot pull two offensive linemen if you don't have the proper look. And we're doing all of this pulling and guys getting – and here's the other thing. If you don't have a center that can anchor those tackles down so he don't fall back a yard to get in the line of those traps, it's never going to work. And we don't have a center that takes the steps forward. At minimum, he stays where he is. That's the best we got out of the center. So our problem on the offensive line is Solari. And people are going to say, hey, what are you talking about? Dude, look at the concepts. We got the same backs. There's nothing wrong with Pollard. He's running these goofy-ass traps where these guys in this league today are way too quick to be trapping every play. That's not going to happen. So my problem with this offensive line is, like you said, we need to go back to more zone concepts. We need to go back to more duo concepts. That's what works with the speed on these defenses, bro.
Nah,
that's our problem.
You preaching to the choir, brother. I love it. I love it what you're saying here, man. Because I mean, you've been watching the show. You know, I've been talking about that stupid shotgun counter thing they're trying to do, and you coach, so maybe you'll notice this too. I'm noticing that we just cannot execute a clean pull, bro. Like these guards,
that's my point.
In the center, they just can't. It's so sloppy.
They got to anchor those tackles. If you're not anchoring those tackles and picking up those A-gap blitzers, because once that play starts, all right, they watch film. They're looking for keys. You know, the moment they see Tyler Smith's hand not in the dirt the way it should be, or something's being tipped to where they explode that middle, and those traps never get it. It hasn't worked one time, bro. We need to get back to zone one-cut concepts. That's what this offense is. That's the problem.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I think you have a backfield that's designed for that. If you wanted to do more of what Solari wants to do, and it seems like more power gap stuff, then you needed to bring in a bigger dude, right? You needed to bring in.
Shouldn't have let the bigger dude we got go off.
Well, you knew that was happening one way or another. Like, here's the thing. I think two things can be true here. You could have let Zeke go and still brought in a bigger back. Like, Zeke wasn't the only big back. You had options. You know what I'm saying? You could have drafted a bigger back.
Leonard Fournette was out there.
Leonard
that really
Fournette,
pissed me
yeah.
off.
You could have signed a dude. You could have drafted a dude. And if you go look at our draft content, I was under the impression that the Cowboys were going to draft a dude that would complement the room, which was a bigger back, right? That's the most sense. I'm never
And
paying.
they went tight end.
They went tight end. They went tight end. They went defensive end that ain't played a snap yet. They did a whole bunch of things. But you're in a situation now in the National Football. I'm never paying a running back, bro. I'm just not doing it because there's too many of these young bucks that come out hungry, fast, quick, strong, big. You wear them out for 4 years and you do it all over again, right? Like it's that simple. And Dallas elected to do the exact opposite. They waited to the 6th round to get a dude who didn't compliment your room, and I'm always going to root for my guy Deuce. But now look, he doesn't have a place in the offense. So, and I think Rico can give you these things, but like you just mentioned, it doesn't really matter. Rico, Deuce, TP. If you're not blocking it right or calling it right, good luck. These guys
got the wrong scheme.
Got the wrong scheme. Yeah.
The only thing that's changed on that offensive line that I like is the short setting. That's the one thing.
Okay, I got you. I know what you mean. Short setting, yeah.
When the offensive line does their short sets as opposed to dropping and then catching defensive linemen and linebackers, our short setting is really, especially in the middle, it's giving Dak that clean pocket up front. That's been creating those lanes for him to sneak out over the D gaps. So that's the one thing that I say, okay, we got better in pass blocking. People might disagree, but that's been a health-related issue as opposed to a scheme-related issue. And I think it looks like 90s football, bro. You can't tell me. It looks like old Seattle offense when they were running the kid from Alabama. It's not going to work with the speed on defense out here, man. Everybody's running 3 safeties, linebackers that run 4-4. They just shooting gaps, bro.
Yeah, great observation. And we're having trouble with that. Even Martin is. And honestly, I think because of Terrence Steele's play and Biadish's play, it's making Zach look worse. Now, Zach obviously is taking a bit of a dip, but he went from God tier to just elite or really, really good. You know what I'm saying? But there's times where he looks worse because possibly the scheme and the players that he's playing in between. It's making everybody except Tyler Smith, and I'll give Tyron in pass protection. He's killing it. But everybody except Tyler Smith, is struggling getting to the second level, is struggling maintaining and displacing these guys at the second level, is struggling moving, it just getting out in space. It's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough watch.
The next time you watch the All 22, and it's running plays, you're going to see the majority of those running plays. We are balking backside. We're turning back. So in that process of turning back in this scheme, as opposed to reaching and dueling to the next guy, this turning back, they're too fast for this. They're too fast for that type of scheme. Every defense is too fast.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. It hasn't worked. And there's no difference in anything except this offensive philosophy with blocking has changed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's the problem. You can't even we haven't even screened properly.
We were at first, though. I don't know why we stopped. Probably because they wanted to, get the ball out to the other guys. But I was encouraged by the screens. Now different. Now Uncle Charles, Uncle Woo, right? Uncle Woo.
Uncle Who, H-O-O, Uncle Who. I got a book coming out next spring.
I remember you actually, Uncle Who. So
we had that conversation.
I remember, yeah. So we ran screens pretty decently at the beginning of the year. Rico Dowdle scored a touchdown off of it. What was it, little man? Deuce Vaughn had a nice screen. TP got out on a nice screen. We was running, and now all of a sudden, Turpin had one. We don't even run them no more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
We talked the last time about the one caller nailed it. Mike McCarthy's an old school coach. He wants them humming after Thanksgiving as opposed, and I know you disagree. I'm not going to say that you're incorrect. However, he does things in these trimesters where they're unfolding packages. They're unfolding new packages. They're not going to give you week 12 package in week 1 or week 4.
Hey, I'm okay with that, because one of the things we talked about when Mike McCarthy took over play calling was that I want to make sure the end of the year, because under Kellen we saw that at the end of the year we were weird. I don't mind that. I'm gonna keep pounding the table on this though. There are times early in the season, especially in a game like week 5 against the Niners, that you can't just keep you're not going to put everything out, but that game plan in particular. That game plan was terrible.
That was terrible.
That was a terrible game.
That was like Jacksonville last year.
Yeah, that was real bad. That's all I'm saying. Whatever you were saving, maybe sprinkle some of that into this game so we can get this victory. That was an important win, because now you're sitting at.
I don't know if he was saving. I think they went out there and said, you know what, we got to show that we can buck up. We can stand up to this physicality, and I think the game plan was that old let's stand up to this, and they just weren't prepared
at all. They got punched in the mouth, man. But hey, this was
they got mollywopped.
great call, Uncle Who. Appreciate you talking some X's and O's and getting me to think a little bit more about this line. I'll take a look at some of those other things you were talking about too.
Appreciate you, bro. You'll hear from me again.
Yes, sir. Salute.
Be strong, and I love your show, and I do love Vach, and Vach is not disrespectful.
Not at all.
Vach just doesn't suffer fools. He
Not
don't
at all.
suffer fools. That's the problem. That's why that dude like you is because you're patient. But I got a feeling that you might get that click button a little faster.
I always laugh.
But it
when y'all
creates good content.
I always laugh when y'all say I'm patient. I feel like I'm the exact opposite, but hey, I appreciate it.
Oh no, Vach don't suffer fools, bro, at all. That's why I love him. He old school.
Yeah, he get up out of there. Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, he get you up out of there. Peace, bro.
Yeah. Vach, one of the most, probably the most respectful young man I know, and I can say young. So yeah, that one I don't agree with, Marco. But yeah, hit bang on you. Yeah, sure, 100%. I've done it. I've done it before. But I have tried to work on that. Y'all think I'm patient though? Shit. Y'all don't be reading some of these comments, bruh. Oh. But I did let my man, say what he had to say. So that's all. I be, I think that's what makes this an interesting show. Not just this one, but what we do. So on the networks, they don't talk to y'all. Good or bad, they don't talk to y'all. On here, we're going to sometimes get, a call like this. Sometimes we'll get the opposite side. And we'll have fun with that. Like, come on now. Like, did I not get on old boy last week? Our guy, Daryl, talking about game changer. If you super homer or you super negative, I'll say something to you. It doesn't matter, right? Or if you're even in the middle, we'll have a conversation. Don't get on her calling me because I'm a millennial and I got issues and things like now we going a little relax, guy. Relax. Why do y'all like heated, Sky? I put that in the chat. I didn't get an answer. Y'all just say I like it. What is it, man? What is it? Yeah, I saved the Stone Cold drop for Vacha Show. We got a thing going on over there, man. We got a good thing. Trey said, hey, bro, but I don't even be trying to be funny, though. I don't even be trying to be funny. Princess, what's up with you and this lace front thing? I'm curious. Why is this a thing? What's going on here? Patience is only patience when you're suffering in the process. Think about that still. I agree. You are very patient. Patience. I'm going to have to think about that, Kingpin. Well, I thank you for the kind words. I'm trying. We out here trying. Trey said, what he say? When I'm mad, you talk like normal people. I'm animated. That's one thing. That's why I told the caller, hey, look, this isn't personal. This is just how I talk. What's good, KD? Oh, complimenting Princess. Yeah, I never know what that meant. Right? Oh, okay. I got you, Princess. Now I know what you mean by that. I was a little confused. Offended? You talking about what, Kayvon? About what? Now, the do-rag Sky is for roundtables. Still thinks it's still them boys thinks it's hilarious. I don't know, man. It's just my passion talking, brother L. I don't know, man. Y'all like that? Y'all crazy. All right, let's get into these super chats. All right, that's true too. Trust me, brother Q, Quavon, whoever you are, you can't do what I do 5 to 7 days, 6 days out of the week if you don't have, or if you're offended all the time or insecure or whatever. You can't do it. Trust and believe me, I wouldn't been able to last 4 years, going on 5 years doing this. Iceberg, Jake opened up Brandon. Them safeties had to watch Ferg. Possibly. Something I'll take a look at. Oh, him calling me a millennial? No. It wasn't about what he's saying. It's about the how, right? Like you're trying to use that as an offense. The problem with you millennials, right? Your issue is to what? Apologist. Like you're throwing all these words at me when neither, you can call me a millennial or whatever, are true. I don't have no issue about Dak Prescott. It's pretty simple. Good quarterback. Got to get it done. I don't know why y'all come on here going crazy about it. Silos.
Super chat.
Sky got the chi tea to bring down. Oh, get the tea to bring my blood pressure down. Man.
Super chat.
Princess Drop 2 said, appreciate the $10 Silos. Showing support / love. Need a Bomb Squad t-shirt. That's something I do have to get for y'all. My apologies for that.
Super chat.
Truth dropped 20. And he said, just showing support. Love the show, Sky. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Super chat.
Smoke One dropped 2 and said, prayers for LVE and the front office prepared good. Prayers for LVE, the front office prepared good. So Rashawn Evans, I'm imagining that's what you're talking about. Got the season high, but I don't know, bro. I don't know if they prepared good. Smoke One for you. I think they rolled into the season a little arrogant. I think in the offseason, I was talking about they needed to prepare more because they got a guy, right? They got a guy in LVE who gets hurt, and you only had 3 linebackers on the team. One of them went down, then you cut the other one. So they reacted. They weren't proactive. Give me passion, Sky. Sky, you don't believe in paying running backs, but do you pay tight ends? Nope. Don't believe in that either. Now, I'm not immune, Willie T, to exceptions to the rule, right? If you are a Chiefs team where your wide receiver 1 is the tight end and he's a guy like Kittle or like Kelsey, then I get it. If you are the 49ers and you got a guy like Kittle that you use in a wide receiver 1 type of role, I get it. But unless that tight end is just crazy, nah, I ain't really paying I ain't going crazy with the bread either. Like, you got to be crazy with it. But running back, though, I don't know even if you crazy back, man, and in this day and age, I don't know, man. I'm not paying running backs big money, period. But even if you Derrick Henry, you know, and Derrick Henry in his prime, that's what I'm getting at. Derrick Henry's put up crazy numbers, bro, but what are they really doing for the Titans? You know what I mean? It's tough. At least said I'm a homer. Bro, let me tell you, doing this job can't be. It is big money in being a homer and big money in being a pessimist. I can't fake the funk either way. One more from Antoine. He dropped 5, says, saying fans need to be united. Talking about that guy. You know what I mean? Saying the fans need to be united, but you ripped apart of the fan bases. What is wrong with this fan base in the whole? Antoine, I'm not sure who you're talking about. Talking about that guy? Because he did say that, right? Like, hey, we got to be united. And you're saying that he's ripping the fan base, ripping one part of the fan base. Hey, man, hey, look, all that, like Toxic said, hey, family's going to fight. Family's going to have disagreements. This whole united thing. We are the Cowboys. We ain't never going to be united on one thing. I'm sorry. We will be winning. That's what we need to be united on. Yeah, you talking about that guy, Antoine? Yeah, he a bit rough on that one. How would you feel if your son became a running back? I mean, if he wants to be a back, it's up to him. I'm not going to persuade him one way or another. If I'll let him know if he's talking about a guy or a player, a child or whomever that looks like they're going to be in the National Football League. I'll let him know, hey, this is what it is in that business aspect of that field. But if that's what you want to play, man, you do what makes you happy. Because if you are happy in doing that or proud or whatever, you'll put 110% in it. But yeah, I'm not going. If that's what he wants to play, he wants to play running back. Are we done with LVE? I hope so. I hope so, man. Is Martavius Bryant ramped up yet, Slim? Probably not. Probably not quite ready yet. I'll say, what's the day? The 14th? I think by the end of the month, right after Thanksgiving. I think they'll probably look into seeing what's up with that. But right now, Ferg, Lamb, Cooks, Tolbert, Turpin, Michael Gallup. Like, they got a lot of guys that they already getting involved. Yep, I sure do, Jason. And then appreciate the drummer Cam drop 10.
Super chat.
He said, most people who watch football think they understand football, but understanding football is a whole different skill set. I want a Super Bowl. I see what you did. Okay, I'm out. Hey, that's why you watch Koye, you know. We do a little tape here. Vach, Law, you know, all these Tuck, all these people that break down the game to help understand, right? I'm still understanding. Hell, I was just talking to a couple different people about trying to understand a certain look or what have you. Never not done learning about this beautiful game. Not sure yet on the status of Turpin, Princess. We will know tomorrow probably. The injury report comes out, practice, right? We'll know a little bit more about that. So keep your eyes on that. All right, we out of here, man. On your way out, please, if you enjoyed the show, hit the like button. If you're new here, or you got Cowboy friends or family that aren't hip to these type of shows, hey, man, share this to the community because we've got so many different creators or shows or what have you that give you so many different perspectives of this community. Mine's is just one. And clearly, you know, everybody not going to jive with that, but that's fine. That's cool. The good thing is you get a chance to hear different perspectives that you just will not hear on the networks, man. So make sure y'all come through and share that thing. Later on, Vosh Lombardi live about 3:15 like we normally do. I think we're going to talk about what we saw on film on both sides of the ball, offense, defense, before we move on to the Panthers. And tomorrow, me and Okoye, I'm about to reach out to him right now after the show. We're likely going to talk about the defense more in detail. We haven't talked yet about the defense in detail this week, but what a weird game defensively. But there is one particular thing I do want to talk about again because, you know, the social media was going crazy about this player. And I said, well, let me go watch the film. The film don't add up to what y'all was talking about. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow as well. So make sure y'all come through Okoye Wednesdays. As long as he's good to go, it'll be a fantastic show as it usually is. With that said,
push the goddamn button.
How do I pronounce that, y'all? Rolo, is it Skangry? Is it Skangry? Because if it's Skangry, I think I like Angry Sky better. # Angry Sky. Willie T, talk about Mike at linebacker. He played 10 snaps at linebacker. He played more the week prior to that, but we'll get on it. We out of here. Love y'all. Peace.